Let's go over the solutions to operations with algebraic expressions exercises. So let's combine the following algebraic expressions. So here we have two big groups of algebraic expressions that are both in sets of parentheses. The first thing you need to do is look outside the parentheses and see if there's anything that you need to distribute. There's nothing here to distribute, nothing here to distribute, so you can completely drop the parentheses and just combine your like terms. So we have 3m cubed n to the fourth p, and another minus 3m to the third n to the fourth p. Positive 3, negative 3, those will cancel, so we have 0m to the third n to the fourth p's, or we won't write that at all. 12m to the 4 n cubed plus another 12m to the fourth n cubed will give us 24. And negative 11 mnp plus 4 mnp will give us negative 7. Now, let's pretty much look at the same example, except instead of adding, we'll subtract. Still, there's nothing to distribute out here, so we can drop these parentheses, but here we are subtracting. There are a couple ways of looking at this. You can say that is subtracting, so you need to subtract each of the values. You need to subtract the 4 mnp, subtract the 12 term, and subtract the negative 3 term. You can pretend like there's a 1 here, and you can distribute the negative 1 and multiply by negative 1 to each of these terms. Regardless of the way that you do it, when you drop those parentheses, everybody in here gets the opposite sign. All the positives become negatives, and the negatives become positives. And now you can go ahead and combine your like terms. 3m cubed n to the fourth p plus another 3m cubed n to the fourth p will give us 6. The 12m to the fourth n cubed minus 12 to the n fourth n cubed will cancel, and negative 11 nmp minus 4 mnp will give us negative 15 mnp. Notice these two answers are very different because instead of adding this entire term, we were subtracting it, which means we needed to subtract each of the pieces. Everybody got the opposite sign. All right, so let's simplify the following algebraic expressions. Here, we need to do some distributing. So we have 5 times 3x plus 2 times x minus 4. Multiplication is commutative. 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. 2 times 3 times 4 is the same thing as 3 times 4 times 2 is the same thing as 3 times 2 times 4. The order that you multiply in doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is you can take the 5 and distribute it to both terms here, then distribute these two groups together. You can distribute these two groups together and then distribute the 5. Or you can take the 5 and distribute it to this group and then distribute the two groups together. Whichever you choose doesn't really matter. So at first I'll distribute the 5 to the first group. So 5 times 3x gives me 15x, 5 times 2 gives me 10, and I'll distribute these two groups together. When you distribute, when you're multiplying algebraic expressions, everybody in the first group needs to get multiplied to everybody in the second group. So you need to take this 15x and multiply it to the x and the negative 4. You need to take this 10 and multiply it to the x and the negative 4. Some people will look at this and refer to this as FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. That's fine, but FOIL only works if you have 2 terms times 2 terms. So I will continue to say everybody in the first group gets multiplied to everybody in the second group. So we'll do that. 15x times x gives me 15x squared. 15x times negative 4 gives me negative 60x. 10 times x gives me 10x. And 10 times negative 4 gives me negative 40. We can combine our like terms. That negative 60x plus 10x gives me negative 50x. Now, as I said, there are multiple ways of doing this. So what if I decided to actually multiply these two groups together first? Take that 3x times x to get 3x squared, 3x times negative 4 to get negative 12x, 2 times x to get 2x, and then 2 times negative 4 to get negative 8. And now this 5 is on the outside here. So we'll combine our like terms on the inside, and now we can distribute our 5, and notice we still get that 15x squared minus 50x minus 40. So the answers turned out to be the same. So again, it's completely up to you if you want to distribute the 5 first, then distribute the two groups, which you call FOIL, or if you want to FOIL these two groups first and then distribute the 5. Both will end up with the same answer. All right, so here we need to follow our order of operations. Parentheses first, exponents, multiplication, and division in order from left to right, addition and subtraction in order from left to right. Well, there's nothing to simplify in any of these parentheses. There's no exponents, so we'll move right on to multiplication and division in order. Distributing is multiplying, so I will multiply or distribute that 5x. And again here, I will distribute here. Everybody in the first group will get multiplied to everybody in the second group. So that 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5x times negative 3 is negative 15x. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Negative 6 times 4x is negative 24x. And negative 6 times negative 5 becomes a positive 30. And now we'll combine all of our like terms, our x squareds, our x's, and our numbers. And we get a final answer of 14x squared minus 44x plus 30. Now, here we do have an exponent. As I've said before, if you have addition or subtraction in the parentheses, you cannot distribute that exponent. So we have to think back to what does it mean to square something? To square something means you multiply it to itself. So 3x minus 5 squared is 3x minus 5 times 3x minus 5. So now we're back in one of those situations where we can either distribute the 2 to the first group, then distribute the two groups together, or we can distribute these two groups together and then distribute the 2. I'll distribute these two groups together. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 5 is negative 15x. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. Then I'll combine my like terms. These negative 15x minus negative 15x's becomes a negative 30x. And now I'll distribute my 2. If you had distributed the 2 to the first group first and then distributed the two groups together, you would have gotten the same 18x squared minus 60x plus 50. All right, so now, again, just follow your order of operations. Parentheses, nothing simplifies. Exponents. So what does it mean to square something? You got to multiply it to itself. So that's 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5. Notice there's subtraction in here, so you cannot distribute the exponent. That is not 2x squared minus 5x. That is 2x minus 5 squared. So it's 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5. So now here, I need to do this multiplication before I subtract. So when I distribute these two terms together, everybody in the first group gets multiplied to everybody in the second group on both of these. But notice, so 2x times 2x is 4x squared, 2x times negative 5, negative 10x, negative 5 times 2x, negative 10x, negative 5 times negative 5, positive 25. Well, here I want to subtract this entire product. So I need to do my 3x times 5x, my 3x times 3, my negative 1 times 5x, and my negative 1 times 3 first before I subtract off that entire product. So I kept it all in parentheses. So now I'm subtracting this entire thing. So I need to subtract the 15x squared, subtract the 9x, subtract the negative 5 becomes a positive 5x, subtract the negative 3 becomes a positive 3, and then I have a positive 7. So now I can combine all of my like terms here to get negative 11x squared minus 24x plus 35. That's it for now. See you next time.